Hey, well, I must say that was quite a very wild, aggressive, impressive day of professional wrestling as Castle Attack Night 1 is in the books, and we finally saw, I feel like, redemption for some personal demons that some people are facing, as we had some very notorious results, I would say. But I digress. Hello, everybody. Good evening, good morning, good night, konnichiwa to you all whenever you may watch this on live or on demand. My name is Noah Foster, and I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of wrestling. And welcome to this simple Saturday afternoon here in the States, where I give you my brief, simple take and preview and predictions for NJPW's Castle Attack Tour, as Night 1 has officially concluded, as I come to you now, 2:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, February the 27th. With that being said, let's go ahead and run down the results and figure out what might be next for everybody involved, shall we? So our opening bout was a six-man tag, which of course had the United Empire taking on the trio of Tenkozy, Satoshi Kojima, and Hiroyoshi Tenzan, and the ace of New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi. A preview of what's maybe to come in our never overweight title match to come literally mere hours away. And might I add, folks, set your alarms because unlike normal, NJPW's next show, live event, Castle Attack, will be on much earlier, as you can see by this. Anyway, back to this match. So what I found interesting here was a couple of things, as I heavily more so focused on previewing Great Khan versus Hiroyoshi Tanahashi for the never overweight title to come tomorrow. And we saw really how a lot of this Great Khan seemed out of control until Hiroshi Tanahashi, with that fighting spirit as always, and you never count the ace out, he got the better of Great Khan with a ridiculous dragon screw and a good twist and shout. But the other story here was Hiroyoshi Tenzan, who was more heavily involved in this match, fighting against himself. As we know, he can no longer use what has been a staple for him forever, Mongolian chops. And there was a couple of times he was trying to go for that, but kudos to him thinking on the fly, using other power moves and submission holds, including a ridiculous vertical type brainbuster on Jeff Cobb. Hiroshi Tenzan is incredibly strong, and I feel like somebody that people may not fully recognize or appreciate for who he is. But I would never count out Tenkozy at all. I still think they can go and they could be future tag champs if they want to. But the thing about this match, it was a pretty short 10-minute bout, and it concluded with the ultimate statement how the United Empire, they seem like an unstoppable force. As in the end, it did come down to a bit of a spree, as Tanahashi, he got eliminated by Great Khan, which basically left Tenzan and Kojima in a 3-on-2 situation. As Tenzan was about to set up for a finisher, he basically got blasted, and then Kojima was going to go for his lariat after basically isolating Will Ospreay, it seems, only to be denied by Jeff Cobb, who pushes his fellow United Empire cohort out of the way, literally traps Kojima into a tour of the islands on the fly. That was beautiful. And then Will Ospreay, he has Great Khan and Jeff Cobb set him up for a Os Cutter, triple tag team offense, and the United Empire stands tall with Will Ospreay pinning Hiroyoshi Tenzan after they take out Kojima with an Os Cutter. So right now, all momentum favors the United Empire. We wonder what might be next for this faction and how far will this faction go in New Japan. And right now, the Ace has to once again question himself. Can he hold up to what Never represents? Can he successfully defend the Never overweight title, where so many before him have literally lost it among their first defense? And also keep in mind, you think about recently Tanahashi's latest title runs when he was IWGP Heavyweight Champion, lost in his first defense to Jay White. When he was the British Heavyweight Champion, lost in his first defense to Zack Sabre Jr. When he was Tag Team Champion with Kota Ibushi, lost it in their first defense to Dangerous Tekkers. Is history going to repeat itself? Will Great Khan right a wrong he felt back at Wrestle Kingdom? And will the United Empire finally have more gold under their banner? It's tricky to say because, again, you never count out the Ace. The Ace could win with something as simple as a victory roll. And he's going to have to, again, outsmart Great Khan because Great Khan clearly has the power advantage here. So I'm very curious what awaits tomorrow. And I'll say my predictions after we're done with this card. Good opening bout, though, as of course, continued tension with Ten Cozy and Will Ospreay and Jeff Cobb. They continue to escalate, which will be a preview of our opening match come tomorrow. Moving on from there, we go into pretty much the headline banner of this entire night. As the rest of these matches, it was all focused on Bullet Club versus Chaos. And it started with these two single grudge bouts here as a preview towards our IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match. As we first off had Headhunter Yoshihashi taking on Tonga Loa. The thing about this is Tonga Loa is a tag team specialist. He is extremely rarely involved in singles action, as Chris Charlton confirmed. Apparently, this was his third match under the NJPW banner as a singles competitor. He basically was pushing Yoshihashi to show me that fighting spirit. Don't quit on me. Don't die on me. I want your best damn fight. And kudos to Yoshihashi being one of the most improved performers, in my opinion, all of last year in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He did bring the fight quite a bit here. Literally, they were going strike for strike, but it seemed like that Tonga Loa is just having fun with the guy. And then really Tonga Loa was testing his own will and his own job, despite Jado's interference. Literally at one point eating super kicks. He ate 6 super kicks till Yoshihashi finally dropped him or made him at least kneel. And then it went for a swanton for a nice near fall. Not quite enough. Goes for the butterfly lock, but again, when you look at the overall physical attributes of Tonga Loa, just too big, just too strong. He could not lock it in. And then Jado, he tries to come into play again, be a difference maker, and Yoshihashi basically terminates that. We get a nice near fall following that after a bit of miscommunication, but still not enough as he goes for his finisher Karma. But brothers run together as Tama Tonga, who immediately, might I add, was involved in action following this match. He comes involved, plays a subtle distraction, and out of nowhere, ape shit in a very competitive, near 13-minute bout. And so far, the tag title match, it favors the champions going in with momentum, as Tonga Loa does pick up the win in this unique singles exhibition. I don't know about you all, but I would not mind seeing Tonga Loa more involved in singles matches. He really can go. And more so, I see him as the stronger person and the powerhouse of GOD. I wouldn't mind seeing him maybe have like an exhibition run in the G1 like Tama Tonga did at one point, though we know there was a different agenda back then. But I digress. Good competitive bout, though. Yoshihashi, I was rooting for you. It was just not your night. Numbers game too much, and Tama Loa's power too much, too. But what's interesting here is there was no West for the rear as they were trolling for a post-match attack in the Magic here. In comes the emotionally driven, pissed off Hiroku Goto. And immediately we had Hiroku Goto versus Tama Tonga just kick off. And this was a much shorter bout. I think it went about maybe half the time as the other match. And overall, it was Tama Tonga trying to outmatch the strength of Hiroki Goto, with the most dangerous weapon being Goto's legs, and of course that knee and that finisher that he's already ate once. At one point, this was literally a game of speed and diversion. Who would make the first mistake? Who would get the subtle first impact? The early going, Tama Tonga, he literally had the match going, making Goto question himself as he was just sitting on the outside of the ring. Jado, of course, though, he gets incapacitated. So Goto eliminates all known influence in this match. Even Tonga Loa, probably just good the name. He tried to get involved here too, but Goto, he fought through all of that. And literally we just have speed, misdirection, speed, misdirection, speed, misdirections. Both men are trying to go for that final blow. Literally, we thought Gunstone was going to hit by Tama Tonga, but Goto just too strong. Denies it, turns it into an Ushigoroshi, and beats Tama Tonga with a GTR. The streak continues as once again in singles action, Tama Tonga has yet to beat Hiroki Goto. That makes 6 wins in a row against these two as far as grudges go. So as I predicted, it looks like ahead of our Tag Team Championship match, we have the champions and the challengers on even playing field. It's 1-on-1. So at the end of the day, we got to consider who leads with the gold. The funny thing is, around this time during the New Beginning Tour last year, it was GOD versus Golden Ace, and they lost. But with Jado right now, looking at the best shape he's ever been, I honestly wonder, can history be broken just like GOD finally broke the jinx of Wrestle Kingdom? And can GOD continue to reign, especially considering how Bullet Club now has lost the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships? Only time will tell, but I'm looking very forward to this bout, and I'm pretty sure Yoshihashi cannot wait to get more of freaking Tonga Loa. I want more of that, too. Hey, Elizabeth. Afternoon, from what I saw, Tonga Loa really good. Think he's a lock to win the cup this year. As for Tama Tonga, flash. His match ended too quickly. It really was a flash match. I was pleasantly surprised by that. And Tonga Loa involved in the New Japan Cup. That'd be interesting. Hey, Cleaver. Folks, please follow my friend, the Cleaver Continuous YouTube channel. He will be starting up a series called What's NXT, giving you his brief highlights for key spots and developing storylines under the black and gold. And Colin, we got to finish up session 3 soon, or hey, maybe I'll join you on that show. Take care, brother. So, again, we'll have to wait and see what awaits. So, this was kind of our undercard as we go into our cleaning and intermission break as we look now towards the remainder of the night. And we go into, well, I will say this was ridiculous, but it was competitive. As our next match featured provisional KLPW 2021 YTR style Texas strap match. Oof, that's a mouthful. Not as much of a mouthful, though, as freaking Toru Yano's freaking introduction. Good Lord. Kenny Omega, you might have run for your money with your intro, brother. Imagine if Justin Roberts ever had to introduce Toru Yano. Anyway, this match basically comes down to who could take off the last of the 4 turnbuckle pads. The strap came into play several times here. At one point, Chase Owens literally was the eater of the strap, but he got the better of Toru Yano, using the strap to his advantage multiple times. In the early going, both men are 1-for-1 with turnbuckle pads. The turnbuckle pads are removed. As Chase Owens did remove Toru Yano's shirt, exposed his back, he wailed that strap into Toru Yano, and we had some tests of strength here and even a tug of war at one point. Interesting strategy, though, by Chase Owens, trying to literally incapacitate the man's hands with Toru Yano's best weapon, tape. As again, they were already taped to the strap for extra endurance to make sure no shenanigans would happen here and no man would be able to be released from the strap. But what's interesting here is Chase Owens literally taped up the hands of Toru Yano, literally like braced fists, so he could not use his fingers at all to take off the turnbuckle pads. As we know, Toru Yano can take off turnbuckle pads within friggin' 4 seconds. Imagine if this was a flash match and this match literally ended at under 20 seconds. Well, it was not, as this match went literally longer than the other one, about maybe twice the length, close to 13 minutes. As we go towards the line, both these men are using the straps to their advantage. They felt confident. Toru Yano's doing everything he can to stop Chase Owens from pulling off even that 3rd turnbuckle pad, but eventually that does get pulled off. We even got shenanigans aside where Chase Owens gets a little overconfident himself, flipped upside down, inside out by the strap, and then, dreaded low blow. And literally, it looked like Toru Yano, he was on his way to win this. As we were going towards the end, though, we find both men on the ringkeeper side of the ring, as far away as possible from that last turnbuckle pad. And it looks like Chase Owens is ready to end this guy once for all. Goes for a package powder on the exposed floor, ends up in a back body drop on the exposed floor. Ouch, as Toru Yano tries to really drag that incapacitated carcass. Well, he didn't go very far. And then we literally find Chase Owens ringing Yano's bell with the ring bell, and pretty sure Yano was knocked out at this point. But again, dead weight. He cannot reach that last turnbuckle pad. Anyway, as it looked like Chase Owens was finally on his way to get the win here and maybe beat the Yano formula, he takes off the middle ties, but Toru Yano, he somehow gains consciousness. He finally rips Chase Owens away from that turnbuckle pad, landing the Oni Kuroshi powerbomb and removing that last turnbuckle pad in an instant, and freaking Yano does it again. Can somebody please tell me who can stop this guy? It's like nothing we do to this guy. He can't be stopped. He can't. It's like literally KLPW was made for freaking Yano. But I digress. It was an interesting match, and again, when it comes to KLPW, it breaks the normal that you would expect in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And to Yano's credit, at least this strap match went way better than its last one. If I remember correctly, Toru Yano's last strap match was against the King Minoru Suzuki, where literally Minoru Suzuki tried to choke the life out of him. And I think it was even for the Never Openweight Championship at King of Pro Wrestling, the actual big event show. But someone can fact check me on that. I was really personally rooting for Chase Owens just because I feel like Chase Owens, he really thought the match was going to go into his favor. And I would like to see somebody different actually hold KOPW and maybe take it a little more seriously as we now look at Yano's wild imagination in games, and the fans just love this guy. It all plays in his favor. I feel like if this was simply touch the 4 turnbuckle pads, it would have been a different story. But again, Yano won the vote. He liked the strap, but he'd rather take the pads off There you go. So now I gotta wonder, as we look towards the New Japan Cup, could freaking Yano be involved in this thing? I don't know, but it's a scary thought to consider. And Chase Owens, is he done going after KLPW 2021? I don't know. I also wonder, based on what happened at Wrestle Kingdom, if Bad Luck Fale was here, would it have been a different result? Again, you can't because of travel restrictions. But it's nice to hear Gino Gambino back on English commentary, though, remotely with Kevin Kelly and Chris Charlton. Good match, though. Congratulations to Toru Yano continuing to hold KLPW 2021. We'll see if he goes all the way through the year with it. Maybe 2008 12 version of Yano can stop the current Yano because that Toru Yano was very dangerous. Indeed, I feel like people forget that Toru Yano is one of those very effective but proficient wrestlers. Behind all this madness, the subtle humor, and my anxiety, I understand Toru Yano. He's very accomplished, but again, it's a different era. He's become a different person, it seems, and it works to his favor, as shown here. Anyway, moving on from there, we go into what I was waiting for since freaking New Year's Dash, and my match of the night personally, because again, one of my top 3 reasons I am a New Japan Pro Wrestling fan is the Stone Pit Bull. He simply called out Jay White to man up and come and fight. Well, we certainly got a fight to remember, as again, this was a battle of personal clarity and reassurance for one Switchblade. As Tomohiro Ishii and Jay White went move for move and tit for tat over 25 minutes. And literally, the strategy in play here is that Jay White was trying to rattle the Stone Pit Bull. Go figure. Hey, EPW, how you doing? People follow that podcast, follow that channel. Yes, Ishii is that dude. Bottom line. Jay White Ishii, definitely match of the night, no doubt about it. You're damn right, all right? Seriously, I feel like this should have closed the show, but I digress. Anyway, let's go through the breakdown a little bit, shall we? So immediately, Jay White tries to get Tomohiro Ishii rattled and to go to the outside of the ring, where again, they have super tight restrictions about fighting over the barricades for the safety of the people, safety against pandemic, as of course, we're still living under the pandemic era of wrestling, where people can't audibly do anything. They can only act based on clapping and feet and thunder sticks. And Tomohiro Ishii, he did not seem rattled by this at all, as there they go, and Jay White just constantly teasing. Again, picking the bear, until Tomohiro Ishii finally got his hands on him, literally hurling White over the guardrails. And then literally we go back into the ring, early going, it's in Ishii's control. But again, being that master strategist, Jay White, he does find a way to get the better of Ishii, basically attacking what he's been basically going after this entire tour, Ishii's throat, as he handed him over the rope. And of course, there was heavy Gato influence involved as well. As this match continued, though, we go back to a subtle Wrestle Kingdom spot where he not so much goes after the throat, but he goes after the ribs of the Stone Pit Bull, thus hindering any breathing and really making sure that anything Ishii tries to throw at him will cause as much pain at him as he thinks he caused to Jay White, literally shifting him back and forth between the ring apron and that blue barricade, literally wearing out the man's lungs, a relentless assault. As this match continued, though, things seemed to be in Jay White's control, in Jay White's favor, as Ishii was still a little slow, but continuing to fight. And then literally we have a reversal exchange into a DDT. But again, Ishii, what brought him to the dance, chops galore, not quite to the throat yet. He hasn't pissed him off to that point. But literally, as Ishii was garnering some momentum, once again, digging down, we get a charging Ishii into a deadlift German. But again, you see the hindered damage to the ribs as Ishii is breathing super hard. Though Ishii will never tell you, I'm hurt, I'm hindered, worry about me, etc. Anyway, as basically Tomohiro Ishii threw Jay White around the ring into a half-hatch suplex into the corner, and the railing again after Jay White once again gets momentum in his favor. We really wonder at this point, you gotta wonder about the Stone Pit Bull's health. He will never relent, but the ref has to be conscious about that. At this point, the ref is simply just, do an account, because at this point, the only safest way you can do Ishii right is a count out. And following this, we go into a Blade Buster around the 15-minute mark, but again, Ishii refuses to stay down. As we keep going forward towards this match, literally Ishii in intense pain, he finally has enough of freaking Jay White shenanigans, and he pisses him off. We start getting chops to the throat. He's literally wearing down Jay White's windpipe. But again, Gedo, with all that concern in the world, hops up on the apron. It looks like he has like a loaded right hand, maybe like a row of quarters or something like that. He hinders Ishii again, hitting him in the ribs. And at one point, we literally find these two in the corner. It looks like somebody's trying to do some big time massive move as Ishii is hindered and Jay White's above him. But again, you gotta consider this. When it comes to people against Stone Pit Bull, you best hope you don't have a glass jaw. Well, my point was proven. As a pop-up headbutt, damn, literally knocked Jay White practically unconscious, it seems. But to Jay White's credit, he continued to endure, and something we don't normally see out of him, a Regal-type plex pinning combination. But again, somehow, Ishii, he does not stay down. And then following this, classic Ring General-type powerbomb by Ishii into a powerbomb for a nice near fall as well. And it looked like both these men, they only had one thing left to try and do, the kill move. As we go for the vertical drop brainbuster, it didn't happen. And then Switchblade, he tries to go for one of his own and kind of does, but not as effective. Near fall. We continue going back and forth, continue Gedo interference, and it looked like White is about to try and put him away. There's a spot where White literally inadvertently crashes into Gedo. We are down to these two, and both these men are literally going snap around, vertical drop brainbuster attempt, no, switch blade runner attempt, no, blade, switch. I was like, who's going to hit the finishing move here? Who's going to hit the finisher? Out of nowhere, it seemed, and if you blink, you missed it. Jay White did it. He hit that freaking Blade Runner, and finally, ladies and gentlemen, fans of Bullet Club and this real era, it seemed like now we finally got that 100% purely confident in himself Jay White back. As Jay White did beat the Stone Pit Bull, Tomohiro Ishii, clean in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3. The funny thing is, during this match, we literally got a callback to Wrestle Kingdom where literally Jay White, once again, he was questioning himself, looking towards Gedo for some sort of answer. And Gedo and White didn't have an answer, it seemed, for a good portion of this match. This was literally a win against personal demons that Jay White had to get. And when it comes to Tomohiro Ishii, all he wants is the best fight you can bring him. And literally, Jay White brought the best fight he could possibly bring to the Stone Pit Bull. As, of course, one point, literally Ishii, channeling pain, literally was knocking the guy senseless. So kudos to Jay White enduring this absolute war with the Stone Pit Bull, getting a win, and finally maybe having some clarity heading towards the New Japan Cup, where many, I think, believed Jay White might be a clear-cut choice to win. People wanted Jay White involved in last year's New Japan Cup, but due to the pandemic, it wasn't going to happen. The point of Jay Hayne in that corner was praying for his life. Well, probably praying unconsciously, but I can agree to that subtly. Bottom line is this: Tomohiro Ishii, always one of my top 3 favorite pro wrestlers in the world. He is the guy to give you the match of the night, and he is that guy to bring out the best fight in the worst of competitors from a personal fan standpoint. And really, Jay White, he needed this more than anything else. So absolutely incredible, aggressive affair. I still feel like it should have closed the show, but I digress. Anyway, moving on from there, believe it or not, that was not the main event, but I was already satisfied as we go into Ren Mecha versus Evil. Kazuchika Okada takes on Evil, finally in a match brewing over since, well, Okada's been asking for it since friggin' New Year's Dash, it seems. And Evil with the solid mind games and teasings. Evil with the better 2020 versus Kazuchika Okada. Okada once again trying to get back into that top spot where it's like, I have flavor and what I want in New Japan Pro Wrestling, etc. And it kind of showed here. Now, truth be told, it was, of course, the typical Evil Bullet Club match. The turnbuckle pack is taken off 1 point. Distractions galore by Dick Togo. He swings for the fences with the chairs. But kudos to Red Shoes. He was not dealing with this bullcrap. He even knew sometimes when literally Dick Togo was getting involved. Anyway, before I continue that, what do you got here, Elizabeth? Jay White reported calling the New Japan Cup the New Japan Cup. Your reaction to that? Well, he did call the G1 the J1, and he was 1 win away from being part of the finals. We have yet to see Jay White involved in a New Japan Cup, because the last time we had Jay White and New Japan Cup in the same sentence, Jay White was looking from the outside as he was the champion. If Jay White truly wants to declare that this is his era, the real Bullet Club era, as the new shirt shows, established Tokyo 2013, He's got to own that name and he's got to own every match in it. So again, it's back to that confident sense of himself, believing in himself again, believing that I am the guy to make New Japan the most money. I'm the guy to lead this as champion. So I'm behind it. And honestly, this doesn't surprise me because, again, rolls off the tongue. But we'll see if he owns it soon enough. And stay tuned. I will definitely have bracketology, simple takes, and coverage during the entire New Japan Cup next month. I feel like March is probably the second most important month in New Japan Pro Wrestling's year, next to the month in the G1. Just saying. Anyway, as this match continued with Okada and Evil, at one point he literally takes them all the way up to the ramp and double DDTs them. And it looks like Okada is trying to boost confidence, not only in the audience, but himself, trying to get those claps going where the people will be chanting Okada. It feels like more so Okada, he was trying to prove something to himself here as well, versus, just like, okay, Evil, you got the better of me, but you can't get the better of me under this. And literally, it was this man's pride that was almost his downfall as we go towards the match and the exposed thermopad just come into play multiple times. As he tries to counter Evil's power and speed, he finally goes for that money clip, not once, not twice, but 3 times it seems. Literally, Evil trying to use the referee to get out. He's like, no, don't touch me. And literally, Togo got involved too. But no matter what, Evil would not relent or cease against the money clip. Evil will not tap. Evil will not go down. And it's like, Okada, yeah, we know the Rainmaker. Come on, man. That is your bread and butter. That's what gives you the win, leads you to victory. But it's like Okada wanted to test himself even harder, it seems. Like, try and get the win under the hardest ways possible. For what? Why change something that already works, man? Come on. We saw it at Wrestle Kingdom, okay? You need to realize this money clip, it just doesn't do it. All right? And literally, it almost cost him here as we go towards the end of the line. And, of course, Red Shoes, oh, boy. He gets taken out and shenanigans ensue. But kudos to Okada. He literally, at one point, I never thought I'd see Okada do this. Dreaded low blow to Evil? What? Well, I guess turnabout's fair play as Evil tries to go for it as well. But, again, Okada with a low blow. That's kind of funny. I never thought I would see Okada resort to those type of methods. At one point, I thought he was also going to use that Garrett too, but he just tossed that to the side. Things finally started to open up, I felt like, for Okada in this match to me when he pulled off an out-of-nowhere, short-running, spinning Rainmaker. So I was like, okay, this is good. Now you see how effective this is. Now maybe you should go for the whole shebang. As we go towards the end of the line, literally Okada, he hits landslide and then scores the Rainmaker at the very end as these two got their own little thing going like Ishii and Jay White did. Counter for counter, going move for move as Evil just kept trying to hit everything is Evil. At one point, Okada even trying to hit everything is Evil because, again, the mind clip just wouldn't work. But he did it. He did the full-on Rainmaker, and this match did go slightly longer than the other one, and Okada wins. Keyword, though, with the Rainmaker. And here's why I think this is a super big deal, because New Japan doesn't normally do this. This is the exact same way he beat Will Ospreay, and New Japan played replays about it. The bottom line, New Japan believes in Okada as one of the best, but they also believe in the effectiveness of the Rainmaker. So honestly, if he sticks with the Rainmaker, I feel Okada could ascend back to where he wants to be. As he subtly alluded to back in his backstage comments, he wants to get back to that top spot. He wants to get back in the IWGP Heavyweight Championship picture. He wants to bring pro wrestling back to that upper echelon. He wants to make everybody happy. So with that being said, he has pretty much made himself very clear. He wants to enter this New Japan Cup and win and get back to where he was, just like he was back in freaking 2019. Now, the thing is, can that happen? And will it happen off his own merit, focusing more heavily now on the Rainmaker, or does he go back to his old ways and try to keep focusing on that money clip? Because he still wants to try and win with that. Only time will tell. And of course, the tournament literally starts Friday, March 5th, one day after the 49th anniversary event. Personally, I can't wait, but I fought for night one of a match with grudges. Tomohiro Ishii, Jay White, they stole the show, but I'm glad that Okada finally is starting to realize, dude, the Rainmaker is what brings you the money. It's what brings you the victory. Focus more on that. And why I felt like right now, Evil, he's kind of on a downslide. Now losing to Sonata at Wrestle Kingdom and now losing to Okada here. And you gotta wonder if Evil basically reached his peak in Bullet Club and now he's slowly just assimilating or going back down. I don't think Evil's winning this New Japan Cup this year. That's all I got to say about that. Kudos to Okada avenging a heavy loss. With that being said, folks, that's night one. But again, we literally have night two tonight. So it's all about championship gold. And again, it is headlined by. But those that are only matched. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's to come with night two. As night two will, of course, open up with a couple of tag team previews, the New Japan way. We first kick off, of course, with TenCozy renewing hostilities with the United Empire, as Jeff Cobb and Will Ospreay, they continue to try and lead by example with their statement of domination. We know that Hiroshi Tenzan right now, he's already kind of in a different mindset as he tries to figure out what's my definitive finish at this point. I can't use a Mongolian chops. That's with my ace in the hole. And of course, Jeff Cobb, he's coming off that huge loss against Shingo Takagi at Wrestle Kingdom. And we subtly see the never-weight title probably still in his eyes. He probably still wants that back. I feel like right now, United Empire, they need this win more. I feel like United Empire is going to win in this opening tag team bout. And I feel like Kojima and Ospreay is not going to be revisited as heavily here, emotional-wise, as it was during the New Beginning. But I could definitely see Kojima involved in the fall this time. With that being said, we go into a six-man bout as Chaos, Toru Yano, Tomohiro Ishii, and Kazuchika Okada, they take on Bullet Club's Jay White, Chase Owens, and Evil. With one of the three men in Bullet Club, aka the leader, winning last night, can he continue that momentum going into night two in this mutual six-man tag feud? And you think about, I could see all six of these men maybe being involved in the New Japan Cup. I look at Tomohiro Ishii and I look at Jay White. Jay White's going to have as much bravado as possible saying, I beat you last night, so go ahead and come on. You want more of me? I can beat you again. Let's do it. I think about Evil and Okada. Are they done with each other? Does Evil feel like he needs to avenge that loss to Okada? And then, of course, we have Toru Yano, the wild factor here. And I'm sure Chase Owens, he definitely wants that KOPW still. So honestly, it might be a revisit of all the grudges from night one. But I look at this six-man and I think about this. Okada is on the up. Evil is on a downturn. And Toru Yano, he can get a flash win out of nowhere. I think Toru Yano is going to get the win here over Chase Owens again with a low blow flash roll-up. And that's all I got to say about that. As Okada continues his momentum into the New Japan Cup and Jay White, he continues to claim this is the new Japan Cup. And we'll see if that holds up. Now we go into the championship bouts. That is the bread and butter of the night. And it starts with this. Of course, this match being revisited back from the World Tag League last year, where, ironically, the challengers did beat GOD. Hence why we got this match back. But I look at GOD right now. This is their semi-title reign. They have more momentum with themselves now than ever. I feel like here, though, around this time last year, they did lose the titles, and Goto again. When it comes to the big-time matches, he does capitalize at times. Yoshihashi wants more gold. 2020 was the year of Yoshihashi. But I'm also looking at the fact you probably won't see these tag titles involved in anything until after the New Japan Cup. I'm going to say that GOD retains here. It just feels like tag team wrestling was made for them. And again, Hiroki Goto, Yoshihashi, they're already 2/3 of the IWGP never openweight tag team champions. I'm going with GOD to retain. Since we're talking New Japan Cup, curious as to what they'll do on March 14th to counter Noah's show highlighted by Kaiji Muto deferring against Keita Kiyomaya in Fukuoka. Ooh, that's a good point. I mean, I don't know necessarily if New Japan and Noah try to counter each other. It's almost like, sometimes Noah, New Japan, Stardom, they have events on the same day. But you gotta wonder, what could be a bigger match to look forward to that day live versus Kaiji Muto, the second oldest right now, I believe, wrestling champion going today, versus Kaito Kiyomiya. I apologize if I screwed up that name. I don't know. And if I'm going to guess right now with the fact he just signed a 2-year deal, there's no way Kaiji Muto is losing the title this soon, I feel like. Again, age is just a number. I still can't believe this guy beat freaking Gold. So, with that being said, that's the match right now because I don't know the cards. But that is a money match. That is a must-see match. And I'm just going to say Kaiji Muto retains. But I'm sure they're going to give us more details during the anniversary show. They got to. Anyway, what you got here also? Chaos with the win. Evil getting pinned. Ouch. Yeah, I mean, again, I feel like it's even Owens. There's no way Jay White's eating the fall in that six-man tag. But anyway, as far as the heavyweight tag championships go, I'm going definitely with GOFD. Simple as that. Now, this is a match that I find rather interesting because you wonder if the Rampage Dragon will get re-involved with this title, as we have the ace of New Japan, Hiroshi. Again, when you look at the history of this title, there have not been that many people to survive a first defense. There's also not been the greatest run of long-running championship reigns lately for Hiroshi Tanahashi and defenses too. If you want to raise Great Khan and the identity of the United Empire, where I thought literally Great Khan was going to beat the ace of Wrestle Kingdom, I feel like right now that Great Khan kind of needs this win more. And again, it's the New Japan Cup. You know that somehow Hiroshi Tanahashi is going to try and find a way to be involved in that because you know he wants that heavyweight title back. I keep thinking about the idealisms of Kota Ibushi and Hiroshi Tanahashi and how much they share the same thing, it seems. And I could honestly see that maybe being visited. So looking at a different story and a bigger picture, I think Great Khan is going to dominate Tanahashi this time and become the new never openweight champion. And then I think Shingo Takagi is going to come after Great Khan and try to go after what he values as a treasure. Because when it came to Shingo Takagi, he raised the game when it comes to the identity of the Neverweight Championship. While the Never title on Tanahashi definitely raises his prestige, this title is not about the strongest or the greatest. It's about the baddest. And when I think about baddest, I think about Shingo Takagi as the baddest man in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I want to see him go up against Great Khan. Though kudos to the Ace and Shingo's match. It was still bloody brilliant. But I'm going with Great Khan becomes the new never overweight champion. And again, there's not much history to this. And I just don't see this developing as big as a thing as Okada versus Tanahashi over the years. So again, the Ace got the moment, the never title, but I feel the Ace is going to move on to bigger and better things. And Great Khan is going to lead the never division. Whoever might be involved in it. All right, so moving on from there, we go into a very special match, as originally it was supposed to be Ticking Time Bomb Hiromu Takahashi defending the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. But, again, with things that happen, we have to literally consider that this is an industry where injuries can happen at any time. And Hiromu has sustained an injury that will keep him out for 6 months. So, he has relinquished the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, and now it's being contested in a triple threat match after an impassioned speech by El Desperado and literally Bushi saying, I went in on this too. But ELP with the last remark against El Desperado, super kicking in the face, while Bushi with the code breaker standing tall. Can Bushi win this title on behalf of his friend? Can Bushi finally capitalize when it matters on the big time match? Does he become the champion? And do we finally have him lead the junior heavyweight division till Hiromu comes back? This, in my opinion, could come down to a flash pin because, again, ELP could just literally wait on the outside and pick somebody. This could go anybody's way. I would not be disappointed in any result because all three of these men, I feel, deserve to hold this title based on what they bring to this division. I don't have to like the personalities, but I am Suzuki-gun Pro. I believe El Desperado showed more last year than Bushi and ELP combined. And if friggin' El Desperado is going to remain part of this division, even though he is one half currently the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, it is not the first time that the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champ has held the freaking Junior Heavyweight title. I am going with El Desperado becomes champion and leads this division. And maybe El Desperado show will get visited. But as far as who eats the fall here, I feel like it's going to be Bushi because when it just comes to these big match scenarios, it seems, it's just Bushi that seems like the guy to either eat the fall and throw a tantrum lately. So, as much as I want Bushi to win on behalf of Hiromu, I really want El Desperado to win this, and I want ELP to just be looking at the outside. But honestly, ELP, he might have a way now to get his own singles match for this too if he doesn't eat the fall. So again, planning ahead. But right now, I believe El Desperado, it is your time. I'm going with El Desperado becomes our new junior heavyweight champion. All right, let's see what you guys say in the chat here. Sandy, what you got about this? Tag title match. Think we're getting new champions with challengers emerging in the form of Will Ospreay and Jeff Cobb. Well, it would be an interesting dynamic considering Will Ospreay wants more gold and Jeff Cobb, he came up short in the Never-Weight picture. We don't know if either of these men will be involved in the New Japan Cup. We honestly don't know if Will Ospreay versus Kota Ibushi might even be teased or revisited during the New Japan Cup or beforehand. Heck, maybe at the anniversary show. So you might be onto something. But let's see what you guys say about this title match. Junior title match. Heart says Bushi, head says ELP. Either way, don't have Despy winning. I can kind of see that. Again, all it takes is one. And Bushi would be the emotional favorite, especially because he's doing this on behalf of Hiromu. I'm just waiting to see what sort of mask or getup Bushi wears in this match. But again, we will see. Which leads us to our main event. And boy, is it a unique one. As current double champion, the Golden Star, Kota Ibushi, defends not the heavyweight, but the IWGP Intercontinental. And this all stems down to one thing. Tetsuya Naito does not agree with the idea of unifying these two belts. He did not propose this idea in the first place of holding both belts at the same time, let alone giving Kota Ibushi these two belts to have them both recognized as a single entity. He doesn't necessarily want to be the next guy either to hold the white belt that has been more so a cursed love story with this man. But honestly, he might want to be the last, according to what Chris Charlton subtly alluded to. When it comes to Intercontinental Championship bouts, and good Lord, we remember those bouts back in 2019. Oh my God, Kota's neck. It is 6-3 in Ibushi's favor overall in their singles match history in New Japan. But Ibushi has beaten Naito 2 out of 3 occasions with the Intercontinental title involved. So, with that being said, I look at it this way. Okada wants to be involved once again. He wants to be the heavyweight champion. He has not said anything regarding being the Intercontinental champion. I'm pretty sure he still doesn't want to be that. With this idea of Kota wanting to unite these two belts, want them to be looked at as one entity, but having mixed feelings from everybody across New Japan. And of course, now with Tetsuya Naito having a new destino in his own eyes, wanting to relinquish Kota Ibushi of the white belt. Do we go back to things being normal in New Japan Pro Wrestling with Naito winning back the Intercontinental Championship? Or do you truly usher in a new era in New Japan Pro Wrestling where maybe by the end of this New Japan Cup, we have a brand new unification title to define the absolute greatest and strongest in New Japan Pro Wrestling? I don't know, honestly, because again, uniting the legacies of Shinsuke Nakamura, Shinya Hashimoto, Hiroshi Tanahashi, the greats that have held these belts before, it just seems like something as a fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling the last 10 years, I don't know if I can fully get behind. When I think about this idea of unifications and titles, I'm like, okay, why do you need more than one title? But why do you need to get rid of a previous title and wrap it up all into a single title? Why combine identities? The Intercontinental division has always had its own identity, and personally, again, I still feel like Tomohiro Ishii should be an Intercontinental champion. I could talk about this all night or day, but something in this right now, with Kota Ibushi finally becoming God, but he is still a human being at heart on this earth. Oh, man. And I wonder about the state of freaking Tetsuya Naito's knees as well, because I almost thought this match wasn't going to happen. Looking at the New Japan Cup, looking at everything here, thinking about what could be the future of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and seeing how this Never title has more people going for it seems, I kind of want to see the unknown. So just out of curiosity, I'm going to say Kota Ibushi pulls it out here. I don't know how, and I don't know what waits afterwards. Maybe Ospreay attacks, makes his definitive statement like, I'm coming after you for both those belts or one belt, etc. I'm coming after you at the anniversary show too, etc. But something right now with Kota Ibushi's vision and the way New Japan Pro Wrestling is showcasing itself feels like they really might push forward with Kota Ibushi's vision after the New Japan Cup. I'm going with Kota Ibushi for the retainment. I think Kota is going to win. But let's see what you all have to say here. I think so on Naito winning. If anything, get rid of the never open six-man titles. Yeah, it seems like those never open six-man titles are pretty much the bottom of the barrel when it comes to identity and prestige and pursuit when it comes to New Japan Pro Wrestling. But hey, it gave Yoshihashi his first ever piece of gold in the company, and he's happy with it too. But I kind of agree with you there. When I think about, three-man boosts, there aren't that many in New Japan Pro Wrestling, besides United Empire probably. Let's see what you guys say, Elizabeth. Naito for the win. Tsuji, probably the first challenger since he's been calling him out since late January. Ooh, that's an interesting proposal. With all this idea of young lions, elevation, and graduation, I almost forgot to think about what might be next for Yota Tsuji. I mean, United Empire literally feels like they're trying to give Yota Tsuji an open invitation to come join us. Maybe based on what happens with Tanahashi vs. Great-O-Khan, that might lead more towards that. Because Yota Tsuji had a hell of a 2020, but he also is that guy that has always been under the Ace's wing. When I think about Tsuji, though, who's been calling out, though, Tetsuya Naito for that one-on-one bout, that Fighting Spirit, that'd be an interesting exhibition and an interesting program to see if Tsuji could really maintain with Naito to maybe become a future Intercontinental Champion. Again, you're bringing this idea of raising the game, elevating talent. But I just don't know anymore if New Japan wants to do something separate with the Intercontinental and the Heavyweight. They've gone so far, 2 years now, or full year, excuse me, with this double gold thing. So I feel like right now they kind of just want to stick with it. It's almost like literally this is one entity and the Never is the next best thing below, but each one has their own identity that really strengthens you and identifies you as a pro wrestler. But I digress. The bottom line is this. We are literally just about 8 hours and 13 minutes away to seeing how it all goes down. And I am super curious from 9 hours, 13 minutes away. Excuse me. Botch. And honestly, here's what we know. After this, after tomorrow, we're done. We're going to rest. We're going to figure out what the hell happened. And we're going to figure out what's next as we and I can't wait. With that being said, what are your thoughts, opinions, comments, predictions, and overall inquiries or just maybe standards you hope New Japan holds up to maybe this year? What do you want to see happen with the double gold? Do you want a new belt? Who do you want to see maybe go after Kota Ibushi or Naito in a title feud? Do you want to see Okada back on top? Do you want to see a young lion break out? Maybe Uemura finally gets his death wish and finally goes against Minoru one-on-one. Maybe Yota Tsuji finally gets to see a Naito one-on-one. Maybe Gabriel Kidd, surprises out of nowhere, joins the United Empire. I don't know. But I'd love to get your opinions and predictions, so feel free to join my explorations for New Japan Pro Wrestling. There's a forum down below. Let your opinions be heard for night 2. As I'm going to do this for each big event show, I'm going to even try and do an interactive bracket thing for the New Japan Cup. So stay tuned more on that. With that being said, thanks for tuning in. Want to know more about me? Know this. I'm just a simple man, a lifelong fan of wrestling. So keep following me. Let's connect on wrestling. And Foster916 on Twitter and Foster916 on Instagram. Keep following the Silver YouTube channel here at youtube.com/C/NoFoster10 for all things wrestling. And shout out to HW family on Twitter. There's going to be a lot of wrestling content coming up. I will be working in collaboration with other channels. Laughing to myself because you keep cutting yourself off. Yeah, well, sometimes you get lost in thought. What are you going to do? Again, I'm unscripted. I'm just a fan. It's as simple as that. Anyway, Sandy, you're such a fun personality. There's going to be a ton of content regarding AEW as I celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the forum I created called AEW Spark. So stay tuned for a live edition for that. And no problem, it's all fun. And again, I can't wait either for night 2. There's also going to be live predictions and a live simple take following AEW's Evolution that literally is the next freaking weekend, headlined by, I can't say it enough, a freaking exploding barbed wire death match. What the hell am I about to witness? But I digress. We also got, of course, continued AEW Women's Pro Wrestling Showcase tomorrow night via the BR Live app, and of course, Monday night as well. So stay tuned for coverage on that. I'll be working with Big Fight Heel on Revolution. I'll have a special guest on Spark for my PM predictions and AEW Revolution as well. A lot of great wrestling content coming up this following week. It's not letting up anytime soon. As always, folks, I'd like to close. There are no winners. There are no losers. There are no betters. There are just fans with their own identities, their own opinions. We all share our own defined passion for this craft, art, sport, you name it, that we call professional wrestling. So at the end of the day, folks, respect one another, support each other, and just enjoy life and enjoy wrestling. Simple as that. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Hit the bell notifications on this channel. Hit the subscribe button. Help me keep growing this channel. Shout out to all my 87 of you that's been with me on this fun YouTuber creator's journey. It's not laying up anytime soon. I'm going to go rewatch Jay White versus Yi because, damn, that was a good match. I'm going to go enjoy some tacos, and then I'm going to prepare for AEW Spark either tonight or tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. And until next time, take care, enjoy life. Tomorrow's never guaranteed. Treasure your families. Enjoy wrestling. There's more of it now than ever. Find somebody, some promotion, some person, some company to connect with you. Make a friend or rivalry out of it too. Keep it friendly. Keep it civil. We will get through this pandemic era of wrestling together so we can join in wrestling in mass safely one day among each other. Guarantee you, because this is only temporary. I hope you all have a wonderful Saturday. Thanks for tuning in as always to Superman Studios and the Live Simple Takes. Good again, yo, and sayonara.